I'm your host Pensyfan19 and welcome to the December 2023 Pensyfan Periodical. This is a monthly news series which covers most of the major roading headlines from around the world, as well as my opinions on them. We have a lot of articles to go over today, so with that in mind, let's get rolling. First off, we have yet another instance of the rail industry going viral in the mainstream media, but this time for a rather unexpected reason. During the morning rush hour of December 14th, a Texas longhorn bull escaped a nearby butcher and somehow got onto the northeast corridor, as it started running around Newark Penn Station, subsequently halting all service for some time and causing delays to the tail end of the rush hour commute. This incident instantly went viral, with several people taking videos of the bull running loose on the tracks through the station, until the bull was eventually tranquilized and safely taken to Skylands Animal Sanctuary in northern Jersey. Since then, NJT saw the opportunity to capitalize on the viral event, as well as helping out the animal sanctuary that the bull was transported to, as NJT announced the creation of a Bull Plus toy based on the event, as the bull was named Ricardo, with some of the proceeds going to the aforementioned animal sanctuary. Even though news of this event mostly stayed within the greater New York region, the last thing anyone expected in a dense urban region in the modern era is for a wild bull to interfere with rail traffic that is more similar to the early days of railroading during the Wild West. After that unusual story to start off, here is some more interesting news. Hitachi Rail's declared themselves a social product, 611 has been added to the National Register of Historic Places, Taylor Swift has been named Time Person of the Year for 2023, temporary platforms for pop-up Metro have been utilized for MBTA's Foxborough station, Metro ran a congressional special to O'Hare Airport carrying Congress members behind an SD-70 Mac and the Spirit of Chicago unit, a CP FM Trainmaster and BC Rail C-Liner B units have been scrapped in Canada, and Amtrak GP38-2 has been painted in a Phase 7 livery instead of Phase 5, LKAB has painted one of their iron ore cars into a rainbow livery, Detroit might purchase Toronto Subway Line 3 multiple units for their People Mover, and the P40DC has been acquired by the Kiewit Railway for mixed train service in northern Manitoba. In regards to follow-up news, Tren Maya has officially commenced the first of many segments of the route starting from Palenque. Lionel has released another exclusive fantasy triplex, this time sporting two variations of the NNW livery. The Skoda Class 16 EV has entered service on Vivi. Omnitrax has started operations of the South Branch Valley Railroad, and initial renderings of the Newark Air Train replacement have been released, along with a contractor to work on said project. In the meantime, RBS has released renderings of the next generation of RE train cars, Alstom is to make trams for Lily, while Siemens is to make LRVs for St. Louis, CAF is to build EMUs for the Philippines North-South Commuter Railway, while PESA is to construct Regio EMUs for Polish name that I can't pronounce railway, Labuski is to purchase Spy-Mode FBS H. Hagielski multiple units, CZ Loco is to produce the Class 741 for SVF, Trenitalia has made an agreement with the European Investment Bank, Nippon Steel has acquired US Steel, Canadian National has acquired the Iowa Northern Railway, which resulted in F40PH number 678 being scrapped, Gulf and Atlantic Railways has acquired Northern Indiana Railroad Company, Hyperloop 1 is officially shut down, City Hall and Raffles Place MRT stations have been the featured articles on Wikipedia for December 11, the ETR 460 Pentolino has been officially retired, CSX donated a main central snowplow to Down East Scenic Railroad, the Belfast and Moosehead Lake has acquired a Burlington Route whale belly hopper, and the Mid-Continent Railway Museum is to restore an EMC Doodlebug, specifically Montana Western number 31. After all that, it is now time for this month's Meme of the Month. This month's Meme of the Month is Ultimate High-Speed Train Collectors. And now, the top story of the December 2023 Pensyfan Periodical is funding approval for multiple proposed passenger rail lines. Although this is a bit of a follow-up story from the various independent proposals along with the many routes being mentioned in the Amtrak Connexus map, the US government has announced $8.2 billion in funding for a wide range of passenger rail projects to be developed over the next few years. The biggest winners of the bunch include $3 billion each to California High-Speed Rail and Brightline West to assist with their respective construction, while most of the funding went to various FRA corridor ID proposals across the country. After more projects were announced over the span of a few days, the US DOT eventually put together a map of all the lines that are to receive upgrades, with high-speed rail corridors being identified between Charlotte and Atlanta, Fort Worth to Houston, and Portland to Vancouver, along with the two in California, although the map goes back and forth between choosing which existing long-distance routes count as conventional rail existing. Another significant project included in this announcement is further development of the S line between Richmond and Raleigh, along with the restoration of the North Coast Hiawatha to between Seattle and St. Paul, while some lesser discussed surprises include New York to Ronkonkoma, Chicago to Peoria, Raleigh to Fayetteville, Nashville to Memphis, and Philly to Seaford, Delaware, the last of three being the only lines that were not included in either of the previous Connexus maps. I'm of course glad to see so many passenger rail lines to get some sort of recognition, and I hope that most if not all of them start service sooner than later, as this massive win should be encouragement to support even more passenger rail lines across the country to be developed, whether they be operated by Amtrak or another entity like Brightline. So please, help raise the awareness of the expansive past, present, and future of rail industry to anyone you know, whether it be a friend or a local politician, so this way the passenger rail network can be better understood and better connected across the country. Basically, we should work to restore America's passenger rail network to this. Since it's the end of the year, it's time to continue the annual tradition of Top Story of the Year, where one of the top stories of a previous periodical are further reflected upon. With such an eventful year, with many of them being top stories for others, the title of 2023 Top Story of the Year goes to CSX Heritage Units! No topic in the rail fanning community has been more discussed or debated about this year than the wildly varying opinions of the ongoing heritage units from CSX, thus being the last Class 1 to create official heritage units. Technically, this story is a combination of May's top story when the first of these heritage units were introduced, fittingly for the Class 1's oldest predecessor to Baltimore and Ohio, along with a combination of follow-up news stories from other months, as well as a few follow-up stories in a few future periodicals, as many more heritage units are on the way as of when this video was made. As stated before, the first of many heritage units that CSX released paid tribute to the B&O, by repainting a GEVO and renumbering it based on the former railroad start date, with the most notable feature of these units being the controversial fade between the fallen flag livery and the present-day CSX YN3 on the cab, thus being the only railroad to paint their units in a half-and-half scheme of sorts. This unit got mixed but mostly negative reviews from rail fans, with some starting rumors that this was a temporary paint job and that it would be fully repainted soon, as most rail fans were especially confused by this new approach to heritage units since CSX released a B&O inspired paint scheme without a fade for the OCS F40s exactly 2 years earlier. The next two heritage units, based on chassis system and Conrail, received especially harsh reactions from rail fans due to several scaling inaccuracies with deliveries, with some going as far as to create petitions to fully paint the heritage units, and others trespassing to paint only the caps of CSX GP38s in fallen flag liveries. But eventually, rail fans started to accept the design of the CSX fade, with more positive reactions for heritage units representing the Seaboard System, Chesapeake and Ohio, Louisville and Nashville, and most recently, Atlantic Coastline, the last of which including a straight line between the two paint schemes instead of a fade. With everyone quick to voice their opinions about the many heritage units from CSX this year, I might as well share my own opinions on these engines. Specifically that I don't particularly mind the fade, as it's surprising to see that CSX is taking their own creative take as to what a heritage unit should look like. And as of when this video was made, my ranking list of these units from most to least favorite is C&O, ACL, Chassis System, Seaboard System, Conrail, L&N, and B&O. With all that said, among the many great stories from 2023, I ultimately decided to give the title to the CSX Heritage Units, as the last Class 1 to have a Heritage Unit fleet caused the most discussions among rail fans through their unconventional painting methods, with opinions of these engines becoming more positive, as I and the rest of the rail fanning community can't wait to see what's in store for this massive, long-awaited Heritage Unit program. Thank you everyone for watching this month's episode of the Pensyfan Periodical. There have been a lot of rail news headlines for the month, and it will be very interesting to see what the future has in store for all of these articles. Thank you again for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.